Yeah, this segment is called The Mathematics of a Lie. All right. And it's kind of speaking to a lot of the frustration I see amongst a lot of my peers. I'm 35 now, so a lot of these people have been out of high school for long enough to get themselves into some major debt without really seeing the fruits of the things to come from that debt. And I remember when I was in high school, they say, on average, if you have a college education, you'll make $1 million more than the average person in your lifetime, which very possibly could be true. But I just want to go over some numbers from a working class schlep who ain't afraid of a 60-hour week and paying your stuff off so you're not paying the bankers and the creditors and whatnot. All right, so for every $100,000 your house is, your mortgage will be roughly $600. If you round it up, let's say you can get in about $120, $150, you're talking about $1,000 a month on a mortgage payment. Now, your typical loan interest that you're going to pay on that same mortgage is about 3%. So if you're looking at the mortgage honestly, when you go month to month, and let's say you're paying $1,000 a month, 3% of that would be $30. So at the end of the year, you're talking about $3,000 coming out of your pocket to pay the bank and the creditors. But that's not how it works, because what happens most of the time is people will pay on their loan, they get halfway through, and then they see a refinance option, which for some people is a necessity because they need more money in their bank account immediately instead of it going out. So they refinance. But the thing about it is, when you're paying that interest on the loan, the first 17 years of that loan, they're getting all their interest up front. So you might end up, if you extend your mortgage 2 times, so you go to a 60-year loan and you refinanced, at 17 years the first time, 17 years the second time, when those opportunities come up, you end up paying so much more because the interest on my loan is about half right now, because I'm only in like 8 years of it. So then instead of it being $30 a month, you're really talking about $250, $300, and that's a drastic change from paying $30 a month to the credit. So I started doing all the numbers in my head, and I'm sitting here thinking, okay, on my mortgage it'd be about $250 a month to pay the higher interest rate. So $250 a month, that's $2,500 a year. Well, a little bit more because 12 months in a year. But all right, so over 10 years, you're talking about $25,000. And then 20 years, you're talking about $50,000. All right, so if you keep refinancing and falling for this trap. So I was trying to rough guesstimate, if I took the refi every single time it came up and I just kept paying that high interest mark, and what you actually pay off so that you own it, so you're not paying the banks and the creditors. And if you have a $100,000 loan, you could end up spending, $150,000 on the loan if you refi twice. All right, so that doesn't seem like that much when you're talking about you could make $1 million more over your lifetime. But it's this idea that being in debt is a good thing, because, okay, that $150,000 comes out, but you also had to pay for your schooling, which was 4 years. Most people, it comes out to another $100,000. All right, so now we're at $250,000, which means that on average, the person who makes that $1 million is going to end up with another $750,000. Okay, but you didn't work for 4 years, and you could get an entry-level job busting your tail and make 40 grand a year. So that's another 160 on top of that for those 4 years. All right, so now we're looking at about, you make half of it over that time. There's a lot of responsibility in there to get into a field that's going to turn you that coin, something that's going to be lucrative, because what's profitable now is not what was profitable in 2000. In 2000, they told everybody in my graduating class, when they say, what do you want to be? And they say, I want to make money. They say, well, you should be an accountant. When the second they did that, now I got so many buddies who got their degrees in accounting, and if you can't pass the CPA, you ain't making accounting money, what they were talking about. So it's a real interesting hustle. You got to look at it from all aspects of it. Now, the other thought on this is, I'm in the trades. So when I need a new roof on my house, I'm going to put a new roof on my house. When I wanted to build a garage, I built me a garage. Then I built me another one. Then I built me a shed because I still didn't have enough room. How much equity did I put into that same loan? All right, so I'm already at probably $150,000 over what the initial loan was worth. I could refinance and get the credit loan to jump off to do another project. So if anybody's feeling frustrated, they don't know what they want to do, like especially young kids, this is who it goes to. Because if you're already in the grind, this information is kind of useless. But if you're like 18 and people are like, what do you want to do? I don't know. You got to go to college. You don't got to go to college. Go to trade school, hook up with a union. They'll pay for your schooling and pay you to go. You know, there's just so many other routes. And the reason I feel it's so important to put all this stuff on camera is don't listen to anybody, because sometimes people will guide you into making the same mistakes that they did. I'm not going to refi my house ever if I can avoid it. If I can double up on my workload and make it so I pay it off early, so that if I'm ever in a position where I have to get a mortgage again, it's on an investment that's going to turn more yield than interest that I have to pay out. So anyways, it's just a thought, man, because I was like, $1 million. How much money is $1 million nowadays? I mean, realistically, you see people making tens and $20 million on a ball contract. And I watched this documentary about athletes, and they say 75% of these dudes who made millions of dollars are broke 3 years after they're out of the league. So you really got to squirrel it away, man. I recommend to anybody who's interested in like thinking about finance and thinking about your financial future, there's this book by George Clason called The Richest Man in Babylon, and it gives you a little bit of insight onto just different ways of looking at business and opportunity and liability. So I hope y'all have a good day. I'm gonna be off Facebook during the day, so if you want to get at me, call me, because I found out it's not good for my morale to see all y'all so damn frustrated at the world, because, man, I love the world. Whenever I get depressed, I go to Walmart. The reason I go to Walmart, I can get pineapples and avocados for less than $5. They travel 3 days to get here, and I'm paying less than $5. The world is a good place. You just got to look for it.